disappointing end to the 80 minutes, considering we're up by, the vast majority of the game. Um, but to let it not necessarily slip with 20 to go, but just got run down was a little bit deflating. I thought overall a pretty solid performance from a relatively still inexperienced side. Um, I don't think the loss of Connor about halfway through the match helps. There was a lot of youngsters who had to play younger minutes in unfamiliar positions, and any team that loses a spine member midway through a game is going to struggle. Clarrie, I know you're just sorting out the link to the
Just
Insta
sorting out the
page.
live podcast just to get it on the
Yeah,
Instagram. And she's up, bro. She's
she's
up.
up. Yeah. So, my initial thoughts, mate, were first um, first 60 million's fantastic. I sent a message to you guys saying I want to see like a 12-10 win. Last 20 minutes probably a little bit disappointing.
Yeah. Oh, a huge game. And I'm just going to like put it out there. Pretty, not, I wouldn't say like happy, but really impressed with the effort. Like I felt the boys went hard there, and the defense was so good so early on from the get go. Like we were there to play football, man. And but yeah, that last 20, like none of our big dogs. I don't feel like any of the big dogs quite stood up. But it was also not one of those games, Jack, where I don't know. It just wasn't that flashy game. It's like you just needed one moment of brilliance or a bit of a lucky hand. And I feel like we got given our chances, but just couldn't convert. But like we were in the fight, we were doing the hard yards, doing the thing, but just yeah, couldn't get it done, man.
Yeah. What do you mean by big? Who when you say big dogs, you're talking about your Tedescos and your Victors and whatnot.
I think yeah, Angus, like Teddy, um, yeah. I'm just trying to think of like those kind of play. I mean, yeah, even like a big Spencer run, but Spencer had some great bursts in the
Thought he was
middle. And
good.
don't get me wrong, like Angus and I think even though Teddy had a few moments where it's like I think like they were all there for the fight. They were all like playing hard, but just we needed one or two big moments there just to kind of get us out of there. But I just don't feel like it just didn't come. But it wasn't one of those games, which I think is also something to like consider where it's just it was grindy footy. It was ugly. It was 2019 grand final like.
Yeah, I think the stat came up close to the end of the match. It was 9 from 15 or 9 from 16 completion rate in the second half, and it's funny like that's just probably not good enough to win a game of footy, especially with the youngsters we got out there. But the mistakes we made weren't like they were just kind of probably not realizing the situation. A couple of Rob Toyer passes which he pushed. Tupou uncharacteristically, probably. I mean, it's such a great lead-up play that down the left side. Him and Mark, no one gonna need to say who are really week by week getting a really good combination going. But I think it just probably got to Tupou a bit there. So it wasn't like we weren't creating opportunities. I just thought we were pushing the pass, and probably inexperience just cost us at those times where you're like, let's just control the ball and let's just really regenerate and apply sustained pressure, which in the second half we probably lacked a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of composure there because we were fighting hard through the middle there. Like we were just staying in the arm wrestle, just playing
Yeah.
to the game that was given us, and maybe that was a game plan. But it seems like both teams are there for the same thing. It's just like let's just grind this one out. But then yeah, when it like came for time to like really go and change from that play to then start looking for the next kind of magic play that could set us up, and we just kind of missed it. But then I think we had those opportunities. That Chad Townsend 40-20, like, and we're just all messaging going, bloody hell, that is just great from the chat, especially after kicking one out in the full. Like, you can't knock a champion.
Yeah, that was great. That was experience.
But then we
there.
didn't convert. But then we put him in the corner. So I was like, in the corner, that's not the end of the world. Like, we'll take that. In terms of, that's where they're coming out of. But we just needed to ice some of those moments. And no, we didn't. But Yeah. Just like
It's deflating. It's a kind of a weird it's a weird post mortem because on one hand, like if you think about the last 2 weeks, I mean, from where we were like in round one, where we were doing this podcast, going, oh my god, 50 points smashing, to then winning last week, and then to get on the probably the one of the harder road trips in the NRL to go to New Zealand to Mount Smart. I thought overall it was actually a pretty impressive performance. Throw into the mix that Connor Watson, who was having a stormer of a game again, he gets one straight on the button and he's gone. So that meant players like Hugo Savala had to have a couple of stints, and I don't really know where he was playing, but it just really threw us out. And I still thought we stuck to the task. And I mean, if you think about it, compared to 2 weeks ago against Brisbane, like I thought. I can kind of forgive the kind of drop balls late in the second half because I just know there's an experience out there and they're going to learn to handle that better. That being said, it still hurts a bit when you know, hey, like I thought actually we were probably the better team for most part of the game. And the Warriors had a lot of the territory as well, and we were holding them out, and that was so encouraging. But yeah, it's still you just go, oh, it would have been nice just to kind of ice that.
And we've been involved in seasons where it's like, you're like you're getting the A for effort. Like you're that team. Well, not something we are, but you just don't want to be that team. Where you're getting that A for effort. You're like, bloody hell, you dug deep today, mate. And it's like we did dig deep there, and we had a red hot crack. And well, the defense was incredible, especially considering how much ball we gave back to them, or just they were on our half and they were just pumping our line. So no, like I think the A for effort and like defense was amazing, but that's also what we wanted to see as well. Like when we go into these games and look, we actually had a pretty good roster today. Like a lot of the team were there, and it was bloody good to see. It was good to see, but yeah, we just like also. Yeah, wanted to really convert some of those opportunities and make it happen.
Definitely a more experience from last year, but as we kind of flagged, there's serious experience in some positions, and there's like a lot of inexperience in other positions too. So I don't know. It's like a catch-22. You're super happy with kind of the first 60 minutes. You're super happy with like all the youngsters who are. I think I sent a text to you guys. Like they're all goers. Like none of them are shirking the task.
Big time.
Boyd Steep had as we call him.
Mate, some of his defensive efforts from that second quarter where he's just going, and he was putting on shots, and that defense in the first half from both teams, to be fair, but it was physical, man. Everyone was going hard at it. I'm like, boys, we're not going to get any cheap tries here. This is going to just be a long grind, and the Warriors just got out on top at the end there. We just kind of. I was saying as well, I think we just defensively took a lot of energy out of us in that first half. And, at that time when you hold them out, you're like, oh, fuck, it's all good, But I think, and what we saw, I remember in that 2023 grand final when, Penrith are peppering but not scoring, and then Brisbane end up crumbling. I think fatigue did kick in there for a bit at the end. And we weren't fresh enough to probably play smart enough footy, or just consistently play the good footy that we need to, and a few key errors there that cost us. But then, like, what happens if Marky Mark scores by half time?
Oh, mate, how about that,
what an individual effort.
We've been saying this every podcast, but gee, he just, mate, he is going to be something else, I think. I'm a good mate of ours said, he should have finished that, and he probably should have. But at the same time, you're going, man, he just can't. That like, I can
that's
kind
a
of
great
forgive
play.
him, like, you know what I mean?
I know, but then he fumbles it over the line. You're like, oh,
he did all the hard work, and probably the easiest bit he fumbled.
And even that little link of him and Tupu, dude, like, and they're just like passing it to each other, and then they're on a run on the first tackle, and then Tupu, he gives it away, and you're like, no.
Oh, I know.
But I mean, I get it, boys. You get toe, you get hot, like you run, but fuck, come on.
Hey, that combination, it's the new.
Mate, I saw him down
at
Bronny. I saw him down at Bronny the other day.
How's he look?
Oh, mate, and Dom Young was there. All the outside backs, just boys, isn't it?
You say hello?
But I was like, mate, they're looking hot. And they're just hanging out. That's what just, good edge players do with each other. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Well, I'm surprised how in tune they are with each other. This is just going to get better week on week. The other thing as well, like we mentioned Boyd Steep. Hugo Savala, man, he played like a good 20-minute stint, I thought. I think over 2 stints. I'm going to make a really rogue prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at him, looking how he's playing, I know he's a halfback. I reckon he will be our starting 13 in 2 years.
Ooh,
That's
hot take.
That's what I'm getting.
And vintage Robbo just throwing him in the middle, like it's almost just like a Roosters way, like passage, rite of passage. It's like, oh, you want to play in this team? Yeah, but you got to do some time in the middle, bro.
He's 6'4", bro. He's 6'4" and mobile. I know, but I thought again, I'm less.
Are we seeing that? But even like, is Victor moved back to the middle of this game? Because it's like maybe you do really want that ball playing 13, man, in the middle of the field. But it was good to see Victor back in the middle, just storming up the guts, dude.
I thought Wong, especially in the first 50 to 60 minutes, was especially strong, and I think that's a confidence booster for him.
Yeah,
and also for fans as well, because it was getting, I won't say dicey with him, but there's been a lot of hype about him, and certainly after round 1, you're going, oh god, is this just one of those cases of the hype's too big for what we're actually going to see on the field? But I thought he was really strong. But just touching on the young guys as well, like Savala, Boyd Steep, again, Mark Noah went into RSA. It's his 4th game of NRL. The other Makatoa as well was out there too. And they are just goers, man. That's what I really like to see. They're not shirking the task. They're rolling their sleeves up. Execution at this stage. Rob Toyer as well is another one. The other great thing about Rob Toyer is he didn't have the greatest night, but I actually don't mind that he was still probing and trying. And as he gets more experience, he'll just naturally.
I think that was one of Boyd Steep's best games.
Yeah, it was for sure.
It's great. Just like you don't see much in the early games. Maybe he's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. How many games he's in?
He's played 15. So actually, I don't think it's even that much, to be fair. But
I don't reckon it's that much. But then I don't know, man. I was just like that second stint, and he's just defending like hard, and I'm like. That's what we're seeing out of Boyd Steep. It's just hardcore defense, which is all you can ask for.
Yeah. Oscar's in the chat here. He says, the boys. Thank you, Oscar. That's just a statement as opposed to a thought, but
then Barry from Ben Buckler saying, come on, you boys, bring home the premiership. Don't know if that's going to happen just right now, but please hang in there because I think that might.
What's that? Sorry, mate.
Not important. Just a comment.
Which one's Barry from? Who's Barry from Ben Buckler again? That was me.
Was that you? Yeah.
That was me for a while.
Are you commenting on the live stream whilst we're onto it, dude?
No, I'm just saying Oscar saying the boys now in the chat on our live stream.
We digress.
You can't say it
for
reasons.
What are some takeaways? If you're head coach and you're looking at that game and then you're looking towards next week, what are you saying?
Well,
what are you thinking?
Firstly, I'm going, well, we went to New Zealand and we only leaked 14 points is the first thing I'd say. Secondly, I'd say it was 6-4, 12-8 or whatever it was for the best part of 65 minutes. And with the youngsters, with the road trip, I think you're going, there's a lot to work with here. And it's not just raw talent, which is, we scored 38 points last week, which was great, but we also leaked 30. This week, the complete opposite. We kind of roll up our sleeves offensively, get really down and dirty. And I thought, again, for the most part of the game, it was really solid. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't just for that inexperience where they were making some maybe rookie mistakes, it was probably going to end up 6-4 or 10-6 or something anyway. It was just kind of the fact we put ourselves under pressure. So it's hard to compartmentalize the end result if you know what I mean. But I just thought the way the game was being played, the inexperience probably cost us. And if we kind of had a bit more footy smarts about us, that's either a 6-4 win or like a 10-6 loss or something like that. So and you're feeling probably even better about it, even if we did lose 10-6. So
just a smidgen better. I think a few moments there, and we didn't have the magic at the end though either. But I suppose,
What do you mean by magic?
well, I think we needed some magic at the end, like especially after they scored that try and we're down by 2, bro. Like, I mean, at 2, I think is that where Sandon kicked it and that you just can't. That's not the play. Like, if they're 2 points in and
Yeah, that
just
was
hang in the fight,
There was
like
a
this
couple
is
of, yeah.
the game is so on. Like any penalty or let alone try, we're already up. Like we've been playing this hardcore, just complete sets or just nothing flashy. Let's just grind out this win. We should have just really stuck to that, especially in that moment. But look, yeah, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. It would have been really nice to win that one, just like off the back of, a famous Penrith win and then a gutsy effort. Still a young team, but enough troops just to walk away from New Zealand with 2 from 3. You're just going, okay, yeah. That's a big confidence.
I'm still getting those vibes in a way. I really am.
Yeah, same. But for the scoreboard, even though it's early days, it still would have been nice. And
But
again, we don't want that. We don't want that season of just like, oh, we were bloody in it. We had a red hot crack.
Yeah,
even though you'd
I
rather
know
that than it. Yeah.
This is a development season though, bro, for the most part. And don't you reckon? I think I said to you mid game or like kind of close to the end. I was like, I wasn't saying necessarily specifically to like the particular moment, but I was like, this team is starting to grow in confidence a little bit. I know it's early, but again, from where we were 2 weeks ago, they just feel like they're slowly starting to. I don't want to say come into their own, but just go, okay, we can maybe roll with the punches a bit here. We can actually play. We've actually got a bit to work with, and there'll be ups and downs this season. I think we flagged that over the last couple of weeks that, as good as last week was, we're still predicting, it's not going to be we're not going to be, 18-4 over the year. There's going to be some peaks and valleys, but I just thought the way we kind of stuck to the task, and I reckon they're going to get a lot of confidence out of that. Not as much as last week, obviously, but I think they're going to be like, you know what, we actually can grind. This is just a team of raw young talent. This is a team of raw young talent who actually want to take care of business and get down and dirty.
And we love taking care of business, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that could be just a loss where it's like, obviously you don't like losing, and I'm not going to speak on behalf of the players, but you might walk out of that one and go, okay. It's just like, it's not great, obviously, but, yeah, fuck, let's get excited. Let's get it, come on, boys, we're in that. If we can man up again next week and dust the Titans at home, which is on the cards.
They'll like going back.
Yeah.
These were 2 away games as well, by the way. I mean, at the start of the year,
let's win that game at home and right some wrongs here, dude.
If you said at the start of the year or before the season had started that in the first 3 rounds we were going to do a road trip to New Zealand and a road trip to Penrith, and you said we split those games, like, well, I'll take that. They're not easy. They're not easy feats. Just got another bloke in the chat from Jack. He is evidently a Warriors fan. He goes, "Up the Wars, boys!" Exclamation point. He must be very happy.
Yeah, shove it up, you mate.
Yeah, that was a battle.
Jokes.
That was a battle. I think I can agree with you there, Jack. Marky Mark is a quote unquote throbber. I don't think I can disagree with anything you said.
No. Marky Mark had a few moments tonight which weren't like perfect, but he's out there throwing his hand, dude.
Oh, dude, he's a freak.
God, he is a freak, and there's a lot of there's a lot of good to take away from that, and there's a lot to learn from some. Yeah, but then all these fellas, I am pumped, Jack. I got to admit, like, just watching Boyd Steep tonight, I just saw him kind of go to it. I love Boyd.
How good's Boyd Steep?
Bro, Boyd Steep's goated.
Yeah.
I saw him go to another level tonight where he didn't look like a boy out there. I genuinely felt like he looked like a bit more of like, no, I belong here.
I like this take. It's funny because I saw him tonight, obviously, and I really liked what I saw. But it sounds like there was specifically you've seen a few things that maybe I've missed where you're like, oh, okay. Like I really thought he was strong, but you're pretty keen on him now, eh?
Yeah, they're just defensive efforts. Like, and he got a good period of time out there in the middle of an arm wrestle instead of kind of coming on and just filling a hole for that last 10 minutes. He had a good 20 minutes when the game was like full arm wrestle. Like everything's on the line here. Everyone has to be on their best behavior. No being naughty because we need to get this job done. And I thought he did his part really well. Like, and then I just saw a bit, the defensive efforts just like he put a couple of like really big contacts on. And these days it's not big shots, It's often, but it's more enough just like solid contact that I see. I'm like, that's nice. That's
quality content. Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
But this is quality content.
Yeah. Was that a Freudian slip? No, quality contact.
So I don't know. Yeah, I'm saying, you just see those moments like, oh yeah, he could be on here. So I don't know. He's done a bit of like, that early. He's got the jitters out, and he might get into his groove a bit here. I can handle this. He's saying, Boydo.
I think a lot of them will have that. I was just thinking, two teams, Roosters and Warriors tonight, who were completely lapped in round one. Warriors were woeful in Vegas, and we were beyond woeful in round one. And to think too, excited that both teams kind of grind out a 14-6 game is pretty wild. I think. I don't know what that means, but what do you mean?
Yeah, look, I mean, both teams are up. I think both teams are good. They're here for the fight. They're here for the fight. I don't know, Well, it's early days. Like, I don't need to feel good on anyone, but it's that first 6 rounds. It's just kind of win loss. You don't know who's who, and
you're not gonna feel good with me like, they didn't lose. They just ran out of time.
Oh. Does Jack have a bone to pick with that comment?
It's pretty bad, bro.
And there's a few people just really, I mean, obviously they won 4 comps, but just like, that was then, this is now. Just like, God, Penrith are so gutsy for just hanging in there and playing against the fucking New South Wales Cup side. Bloody hell, they're just really gutsy.
Like,
so what are you talking about, dude?
But it's just the fornication, the fawning, not fornication. That's different.
I was about to say, that's kind of sexy but weird.
That's weird. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? He's a bit strange, Gus. But no, the fawning over Penrith to the point where it's like, is this actually rational? Like, they didn't lose; they just ran out of time. Well, in my books, that's a loss. If you're behind the scoreboard after 80 minutes, generally that means you lose. Not whatever. You know what?
Yeah, that's neither here nor there, Jack. That was then as well. That was then. This is now.
Yeah, that was apropos of nothing. But
always going to be a bit of a tough game. But yeah, I came in at the start of the game, which I kind of say in most, a year like this year where I just don't feel like we're going to be the sexiest team on earth.
No,
I just want to see us have a red hot crack, and I'll walk away be happy. And I'm going to wake up in the morning going, you know what? I'll take that. It's a loss, but it was just good to see the boys have a red hot crack. We ran out a bit of steam in the end there. And we didn't ice the game, and there was few bits and bobs missing, but we showed up and we were there.
This is a completely different loss to round one. This is like a disappointing loss, positive loss. I think that's the vibes I get. Want to win every week, but I thought great leap forward. Before we wrap up, mate, who are your star performers for the week? Let's foreshadow maybe who's going to get the BCC M award for round 3.
The boy complete.
Boy caught in a complete.
The boy caught in a complete moose award. It's a bit
just throw some names out.
Bloody hell, this is a tongue twister. Stacey Jones.
Francis Smelly, and so too is Italy.
Found to tell a lie. No, I can't.
I need a poo-poo. What's the other one? What's a pity I've run out of paper?
Francis will tell a lie only if you tell one too.
Sorry, who are you? Just throw us some names about who you thought were good tonight.
No crazy standouts. I thought it's bloody good to see Spencer back, dude.
Yeah,
his runs are out of control, man. Like, he is a beast.
Yeah.
Like, god damn, he runs hard. Like, and explosive. It's crazy, man. And some of those runs were super valuable.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. If we can harness, it's like, we don't need that every run, dude. But if you can pick your moments to just explode out that line and poke your head well and truly through the defensive line. I think he did it at the back end of that game when we were chasing. I think we were down 2. Yeah, he did. We were down 2 and he just stuck his way through this huge run. I'm like, my gosh, Spencer, that is like exactly what a rugby league team needs. Just like, all right, here we go, front foot ball. Everyone gets toey on the fact that he's just made a complete moose run. And like boy corner inside A vibes. Oh, mate, it's good stuff. So
Good to see him back. Yeah.
good. I think just good to see him back. I didn't have a red hot standout.
I thought Connor was very strong again until he got knocked out.
As I was saying in our group chat, maybe one of the great Roosters buys of the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, post back to back, getting him back when he was like off the Super League and Robbo's like, no, you come back home.
You're coming with us, and it's been an astute signing for sure. He's now State of Origin player. It was. I thought collectively they all had a crack. I'll have to reflect on who was my standout. Yeah, I thought Connor was really good up until he got knocked out. Spencer was good to see him back. Nafu White first half was strong too. Boyd Steep too. Was great. I thought Teddy was outstanding. Probably the last 20 minutes he'd want back as well.
Not some of his best moments, but I feel like everyone had like really good moments. Like Chad had a great 40-20 and a few gigs, and then we just kind of cooped a few of
that's
those.
A good point.
And then Tuvo had a few good moments, and then he cooped a couple. Mark
execution,
cooped
man.
A couple. Yeah, just
execution. So we go.
Where last week we were on.
Yeah,
everyone was executing.
So we've got same time next week against the Titans. I'll be interested to see how they go. Just quickly before we wrap up, I'll just double check who they're playing this week. They've got the Knights on Saturday night, so we've got a 1 day kind of head start on them. I'll be very interested to see how
travel.
Yeah, and they've got to travel, so I think it's actually almost a perfect matchup for us, just to see where we're at. We've had a big couple of weeks. Penrith Panthers away trip to New Zealand. Let's take 7 days. Let's get ready, prep, and let's go. Disappointing / positive night is my final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Jack.
Awesome.
I'm with you there.
Good stuff. All right, mate. We'll get set for the Tuesday pod.
Thanks, Roosters fans. Yeah, send in your. I would like to hear, because we were just kind of a bit of a stalemate as to who could be the Boy Corner Complete Moose Award. Send them in. Someone's got to win it.
Yeah, they do. Well, that's exactly right. I mean, who's the top of the leaderboard at the moment?
One of those great Roosters.
Yeah, we've already forgotten. It's 2 rounds in. Okay, mate. We'll have a great weekend, buddy.
You too, Roosters fans. We'll chat. When are we on?
Tuesday
morning.
Tuesday
we'll see
morning.
you there.
All right. See you, buddy.
All right.
All right. There we go. I think